A girl was walking to the parking lot to pick up her car. Suddenly, the girl was startled. The girl is about to pick up her phone when the man suddenly hugs her and then puts the girl in the trunk. The camera pans around and the taillights of the moving car suddenly fall off. A girl's arm comes out of the car. She waves it vigorously to attract the attention of passersby. Her action is soon noticed by the driver. She immediately called the police and told them where she was in the license plate number, and they found out that it was a reported stolen car. At this point, the female driver was so eager to save her life that she drove the car right up to the robbers. But the robber was very alert. He steered, stepped on the gas, and drove off the highway. The girl looked out of the hole and found the road very desolate. The girl looked in the corner of the car and found some cans of paint and a screwdriver. She had an idea, opened the gas tank and poured the paint along the hole. The white trail was finally spotted by a passerby at the intersection, but he didn't know there was someone in the trunk. He was kind enough to warn the robber.
Hey, how you doing, man? You got, like paint coming out of your trunk?
When the robber heard this, he immediately panicked. He accelerated the car to a deserted place and suddenly opened the trunk. He spoke angrily to the girl in front of him.
Well, I'm gonna kill you right here.
He took out the drugs and made her pass out again. At this point, a friendly passerby caught up with him because he thought something was strange. The robber immediately threatened the girl to keep quiet and told the driver that it was a screwdriver that pierced the paint bucket. The uncle believed the story and got into the car to drive away when he noticed something unusual in the rearview mirror. He quickly pulled out his cell phone and was about to call the police. Suddenly, then he picked up the phone and smashed it. After a scuffle, he knocked the passerby unconscious. He also broke the medicine bottle when he knocked down the passerby. Then he took out all his anger on the girl, and that's when the helicopter finally saw the car. The police rushed to the car as instructed by the helicopter. They found that the car was empty. All they found was a pool of blood on the ground. In fact, the robbers had taken the roadie's limo and were holding the roadie and the girl together. The girl wanted to smash the tail light again, but the car was too good to smash. Suddenly, the bystander woke up and started banging on the trunk and screaming. His behavior made the robber very angry. He pulled over to the side of the road and grabbed a screwdriver. Then he placed the body next to the girl, warned her not to move, and drove away. The car soon ran out of gas. The robber had to go to the gas station and give the money directly to the clerk. The girl hurriedly got into the car through the back of the spare tire, but the hole was too small. The girl could only get halfway out of the car. She waved desperately to the staff, but the other side did not notice that the robber was about to finish refueling. The girl had to scream.
Oh, please, I've been kidnapped, please help me!
The attendant finally realized what was going on. He pulled out his 40-meter machete and confronted the robber as he tried to open the door. Suddenly, the robber grabbed the gas pistol and sprayed him with it, making it impossible for him to open his eyes. The robber grabbed a lighter and lit the gasoline. He was burned alive. The girl cursed him, and he was so angry that he hit her with his fist and knocked her out. The police on the other side found the robber's real information through fingerprints. The robber called Mike a paramedic. The police rushed to Mike's home. The panicked wife knew nothing of her husband's crime. By this time, Mike had arrived at his destination. As he picked up the girl, he happened to notice that she still had a cell phone in her pocket and had connected to the dispatch center. It turns out that the girl's behavior just now was coming from the live operator, Turner. Turner called Mike.
The police know who you are, Michael Foster. They're at your house right now with your family. The only choice you have now, do not hurt that little girl.
Mike only said one thing to Turner.
It's already done.
Although he hung out, Turner was able to deduce that Mike had killed the girl 6 months earlier because she had also received a call for help from a girl a few months earlier. Because she dialed the phone back, the ringing gave away the girl's location and caused her death. The robber's last words at the time were, "It's too late." The police arrived at Mike's childhood home and found it empty. At that point, Mike took the girl to another place, a secret place. The girl was tied up by the man, who bound her limbs, cut off her clothes and took off her shoes. Then the man perversely cut off his hair and faced the girl's begging. He just smiled. By this time, the operator, Turner, had lost the girl, but she did not give up. She kept listening to the conversation with Mike. Finally, she heard a jingling sound in the background of the noise, but she couldn't tell what it was. She didn't want to give up hope, so she drove to the house where Mike had lived as a child. She stood in the doorway and literally heard the tapping on the recording, then found the girl's broken cell phone under the flagpole. And next to the flagpole she found a door to the basement. Turner pulled out her phone and prepared to call her teammates. Unexpectedly, she dropped the phone into the basement with a shaking hand. She followed the ladder down to the basement and discovered that the phone was broken. So she boldly went forward. At that moment, Mike's figure suddenly appeared. Turner immediately hid in a room. Unexpectedly, Mike also came in, only to see that the place was covered with blood on the bed. Turner hid in the closet, not daring to make a sound. Through a crack, she saw Mike holding a model with a wig. But when she took the wig off, Turner was surprised to find that it was real hair with a live scalp. Later, Mike couldn't accept that his sister was dying from chemotherapy. He began to have a mental breakdown and started kidnapping blonde girls. He made wigs out of their hair and placed them on his sister's sculpted head. Mike was looking for a new target as his scalp dried out and his hair began to fall out. At that moment, the robber suddenly looked in Turner's direction and he started putting on his clothes one by one, hiding in the closet, and Turner was very scared. Fortunately, the robber just picked up the clothes and sniffed them, then turned around and left. Mike came back to the girl and pulled out a knife to cut the girl's hair. At the critical moment, Turner rushed over and punched Mike 3 times, knocking him to the ground. Turner quickly untied the girl, but before they could leave, Mike woke up to sneak up on Turner, who then pinned him in the pool and was on the verge of death when the girl, who had broken free of her bonds, suddenly sneaked up behind Mike. The 2 men take the opportunity to climb to the ground, but Mike caught up with them, and the girl slashed him when he wasn't looking. Then they kicked Mike out of the basement. Turner was about to call the police, but the girl stopped him. The 2 made eye contact, and Turner immediately understood, and together they tightened Mike up and locked him in the basement. Mike said to Turner as he left, Nat gave it back to him.
It's already done.
Regardless of Mike's heartbreaking roar, the door was slammed shut and he would die here.